Edia pana Akufo-Addo 8 years or the Bawumia, Echichire Ghana Bawumia was in charge of the economy. Adia monka adia ba kwa. Ebaya, these two people boldly came out to say, I don't agree. Monka adia ba kope. These are two rebels. They supported and voted for everything. What was happening was that Bawumia goes to cabinet. He endorses the bad decisions. Then it comes to parliament. Then you see Brandy Champon and Kere Japan do yeah. These are dangerous characters. Bawumia e koliko. And uko social media na uhune yire na wadane eye embassy pleasure dancer. And omu jojo no duru bebi anom de ase gine me say hwe obesa ma oto apa. Me say na so be ba Samira bia na osa. Na mba ni ogduru bebi om se sa hwe omemo wasa obedane adwe MP before. Me say fan fooling. Na nipa mutumi de mefi ya benkwan abra mefi fira benkwan mu e na de omudi agro me say MPP for supporters omo mutumi de mefi soja e de ya benkwan abra mefi na nkasa fira benkwan mu we mu omo be mu wasa ma oto besa MPP wotio e na Samira ana hu kan ho mmobo wasa wa se jimijimi onsa obo da 8 years gala udi na just that form wo besa ma oto bepa to pa na time off for private jet de ko India ekosra kunkumba no na sankwasha from do chi no sa no mka ho obobe yusu ti se choko trotro afi odefi odufi aboso wo ye choko he omobe twu mu for me kan kire mo ade a NDC aban we aye when it comes to pensioners. Let us be very grateful. Let us all applaud the NDC government. At least they are trying. I wish they could do better. And I know this president is a listening man, a listening president. I know by next year they will increase it a little bit. And I believe, oh, you're a pensioner, you are close to say, pensioner. Have faith in this government. Believe in it. More military, more police, more pension. This is the belief you need to have. This government is going to make your retirement better. It is going to make sure you are not retiring in vain. Because pensioners are broke. Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Ono se wanum wiya ma wan shara nya public job bia Akufo-Addo wanya ban adwuma bia da abadwuma efa na ne se obeye foreign affairs minister obeye politics de beduru a onum wiya Bawumia munya abadwuma Bawumia oban ne so nko Bank of Ghana onko so chok mu nkira ade da Bawumia nko eye village enko ye service bi onti ase enti we pensioner ne atikroma pensioners etumi ko finance ministry Ekoye demonstration pensioners under MPP.
How long do you intend to do this?
We have said we will continue until we get our petition accepted. Yes. Every day 1 hour here, every day 1 hour here. We will behave as if we are coming to work. 1 hour, there we go. 1 hour, there we go. 1 hour, there we go. Every day until we get the exemption.
We understand the minister wants to see you.
We are going.
So you are getting audience from Keno Koreata?
Yes, I have been told they want to see us. So we are
what's your
going
expectation?
There. All that we expect is a clear statement that you have been exempted. If that comes, we will close and go home. Tomorrow we won't come.
Is that an indication you are not accepting the revised offer?
We want an exemption, not a revise.
We are here to ask the government to exempt it totally from the animal they call domestic debt exchange program. We have paid our dues, we have worked so hard, and we don't want to be part of this program. If you want people to be part of this program, not pensioners, it's only insensitive people who call pensioners to sacrifice at this time. Are they ready to sacrifice? What sacrifice have they made? What is the sacrifice? They should cut down on their government, nothing. They are not even making any effort. And you want to kill pensioners, sending us early on into our graves. What is this? They will go first. We are not going to accept that. So we are here begging them. They should exempt it totally from this exchange program they said they are doing.
This is what people went through under Bawumia. He was in charge of the economy. Economic messiah. We're scared. This is what, and we don't want anybody to go through this again. They are the same people today walking around and saying, Bawumia mra emwa. Have you seen one thing that they have prevented Bawumia from doing. As much as Kennedy Japan is not qualified to be president, he's not matured enough to lead even a group of chicken. At least he has done one thing. He availed himself for journalists to question him one-on-one. Oh, wadia bi omaye. Oh, say Bawumia, Bawumia one-on-one interview. And I won't say, Bawumia ba say, on-granting interview. Since it's all started your campaign, have you seen Bawumia meet a journalist one-on-one for him to be grilled? No. Jimmy, you forget things. He's hiding. Who raised the issue? Me say, Saturday first, I'm going to elections. No, I don't think Bawumia has not availed himself. Uncle Media General. Now, Uncle Tina, a Media General show. So, no mumbusan question. Senior, interview Kennedy Japan. Oh, yeah. You know why? Because a disease of a politician. He knows he's daft. He's hiding his failure from the people. He's scared to speak. Mahamudu Bawumia. Enyo na symposium organa bebre no. Or just on nyansa che obiano. For 1 year, Bawumia has avoided a one-on-one. Me see Uncle Media General. Sa Joy News no be anim de omo ye no ho. Omo de pay as you go journalism. Pay as you go media house. Cocaine ye de te Kennedy Japan e ka kire mo. That media house has no credibility. Cocaine media. Majority of the people, they are criminals. They are thieves. They are doing business. They are doing this thing against Sabi Jefi because Sabi Jefi is not giving them money. That's all. Why is it Mahamudu Bawumia has avoided the media one-on-one? Why? Ask yourself why. Some questions, you don't even need to be a journalist to ask Bawumia. But he knows that if he makes a mistake and sit before any intelligent journalist, his political career is over. The same thing on the Akufo-Addo. They protected Akufo-Addo. Natural. We all knew Akufo-Addo had hernia. Yenim say Akufo-Addo attrition in Antem. Yenim say Akufo-Addo wasn't intelligent, coherent enough to be a leader. Kwame Sefa Kayamo protected Akufo-Addo. Nobody got access to Akufo-Addo to question him, to drill him on his intelligence. No. They created something impression. He's intelligent to where the nana papa, Jumama American phone when you're chino, no foul, said the papa, and an oba US embassy or Ghana so Begini pay near Pamono, or a snitch. Now where the Okos they protected Akufo-Addo. They used the Akan media, they used some of the English speaking radio stations, they protected Akufo-Addo. I didn't think about Bawumia to Imponko Pola much show so Paul Jimmy why can't Bawumia go there? Now Paul any propaganda job mano. Say Paul questions when Opa Bawumia questions my Paul. Now Paul kwasi pay about the and Busano. Still the two of them will fool themselves. They cannot. Me say Mumbusa Bawumia campaign no and Bawumia team no baby say why is your candidate not availing himself? Why? I'm to me and somebody do what them. I'm gonna say Bawumia there he can do that. Just say let him come. Or not also on your debates, or not also on share media. What makes Bawumia a qualified candidate to lead the MPP? Abuofunu, what is here, Jimmy? Memechi Bawumia one-on-one 10 minutes. Bawumia collapse. Bawumia. Obet Martina be interview 10 minutes. Obet you pass out. Actually, you better train the Bema man and then Bawumia. Wabon se shire. Udim shire. Wabon se shire. All the fuck I so penaka half. Mahamudu. And they are protecting him. Kennedy Japan crash so bon yen so bon sebio onim nyan said bechi chirema no or a bold ekotena TV so mumusa me questions now we scared na ende ada wadane otafrija wa bon ankasa wasa atasa se on pene on grant interview or the nemu sa 31st on book Kennedy nkofo no what this is what they are going to do now election day Mahamudu Bawumia mo what Bawumia's campaign team will do in the say they will go and request for military protection. We Bawumia minimum, and I'm with them. That Bawumia will put in a request for the military to protect them. They will call foul first. Make it all. Mahamudu Bawumia and his team, they will call foul first and say they need protection. And then the Bama Kennedy so are calling for protection from the military. Now this is what's going to happen. Because Mahamudu Bawumia, Samia Ukumu are preparing tags, they are going to make sure say they are not going to call for a full air protection. Which means all constituencies, ballot boxes will be covered by the military because they know the military cannot cover all ballot boxes or all polling stations around the nation. Now Bawumia mo na be kire police ne military ne say these are the places I want you people to protect. So they will use them to protect almost stronghold. Bawumia team no. Now what they will do is say they will leave the Kennedy Japan who hold the stronghold, no. Then they will attack it. So when the issue starts, because I don't know Kennedy mo here to travel sir. Kennedy stronghold. Kennedy so we need 6 regions. That is the strategy. And they are going to cause a lot of chaos in the stronghold that Kennedy ever contested. Yeah. They'll be calling for protection. We need military protection because we think in Japan they will kill it. And Kennedy them to call for that. Bawumia chuchumame. On so that why papa pare ni ati ai ya twene trade say tete generator na ya twe ahoma no zin tete Bawumia na say chuchumame o collapse ya o twe Samira twe na ni ati Bawumia o tena menim 3 minutes 10 minutes interview ya eche ba Samira na be twetwe ma ne sorry Mahamudu me say Mahamudu Bawumia chi no Kennedy Japan there as far as menim so abodam no otumi kotena TV3 say yenye interview at least we will say Roland Walker interview Kennedy Japan. He answered, even though some of the answers along over the bar, 90% of the answers are answer be any. Mama whiskey the nembra, whiskey no monfa nembra. Adentin and the authority media. Adentin Bawumia is afraid of the media now. Mahamudu Bawumia na first of fair to or hear all the media in Ghana. Do you remember Bawumia? Every single day he was meeting the media. Monka Bawumia opposition.
This is why we got into the IMF. You were spending too much relative to revenues, which is true. You were borrowing too much, which is true. Your external payments position has deteriorated, which is true. And so you ended up, your growth is reducing, which is true. So you ended up at the IMF, and the IMF would impose certain conditions, which is true. And if you don't do certain things right, the anchor will not hold, which is true. So I'm not quite sure what it is that is not true that I said. But I think, unfortunately, the supporters of this government and this government itself are very reluctant to admit the truth, even when it hits them in the face. Yeah.
True. Thank you about that.
This is why we got into the
come and interview me. Bawumia. And who my cana ne be ma jojo we dwane twetwemame hwe obekasa me say first no ba obi atumi sha bodam ni o say come and interview me Mahamudu na otumi frɛ me munyina momra come and interview Bawumia ne enie
leave that to breathe, but we are going to build a new economy, a different economy. And you will be hearing a little bit more, because you cannot just criticize without providing alternatives. And we are going to, and we have anyway.
You can tell us something as to what exactly.
I'm telling you, it's an exciting. I will tell you what it is not. It is not a doomsday economy. It is not a dead goat economy. It is not a friends and family economy, right? It is an economy that will create jobs.
Right now, I say Bawumia, I say Jimmy, and it is not a dead goat economy. It is not a doomsday economy. Also, right now, also a mental problem. I feel a munya. Also, me boy interview which is how did we fall for this? Yeah, that is the thing. I make sure. Also, right now, no, unya butena utiera say how did we as a nation? How did we fall for this? Yebusa will say, what are the alternatives? Do you have any alternatives to what is happening? There's one thing I can tell you. It is not a doomsday economy. It is not a dead. You see, the guy was empty from day one. So when you put on Bawumia old interviews, I will say, hey,
all of these are hurting. They are hurting the economy. These taxes are hurting, and therefore you are not going to get the growth. And when you don't get the growth, you will not get the revenue. And when you don't get the revenue, you go back to increasing taxes to get the revenue. And then you are in a cyclical downward spiral. And so they have it wrong. And we will change that particular policy. We will use the tax incentives to grow this economy. And you will...
Make it also when you would say, hey. Avena, me say I nya butre na ko tie Bawumia biem. Obon si yedi nkwasi asem pap. Asoma ganya se bene de wo. Me say, okay, the interviews are no no join news Jefferson Saki na interview no. Owie na Jefferson Saki be yedwuma o Jubilee House. Me say, so wunya abutre na utie Bawumia old interview because say, hey, ye Jimmy o. Bawumia is vague. You can so be a vague. Just say Bawumia is empty or you empty. Kekema me. Met mama interviews be 3. Who say now kwa way my mama on the speeches be share here there. Mama show there. Bawumia, mama show. Mahamudu share here we. Mama show here we.
Has the government achieved single-digit inflation?
Well, that is for everybody else to judge. My point.
Do you doubt that they have achieved single-digit?
My point is that the single-digit inflation that we are seeing is not consistent, in my opinion, humble opinion, that is not consistent with developments that we are seeing in the cost of living. You know, I mean, the single-digit inflation is supposed to be driven by food prices. So, you know, ask every, you know, woman, man who goes to the markets and ask about food prices between last year and this year and see how food prices have been increasing. My visits to the markets, whether it's in Malatar or Tamale.
Me say, akwawe utie na. The more utie no say enkoye.
We don't have to borrow money from anywhere. Just toll the various sections of the road and we'll raise the money to do the roads in Ghana. We don't have to borrow money from anywhere. Just toll the various sections of the road and we'll raise the money to do the roads in Ghana. We don't have to borrow money from anywhere. Just toll the various sections of the road and we'll raise the money to do the roads in Ghana.
Yeah, you say ye nya wotre utie Bawumia o unya wotre na utrase wo de didi numti kakra na ka say ukotie Bawumia obenu ho obeka say hey. Now how didn't you see I didn't na ye jandam no on sa fe I say ye reflect o Bawumia oni bibia o wa bon Messi metuma mo 30 ubenu ho se intakwa we pa mama ba ku biwa bebre o abunya abutentie Bawumia ho tie Bawumia ba ku biwa ha.
The Ghana cedi is currently in free fall and depreciating virtually on a daily basis. In fact, this is what you are seeing as a Midonyami exchange rate because it is going all the way. The Ghana cedi.
The NDC was in government for 8 years. They may think that we have short memories, but we can still remember very clearly that after 8 years that they had in office, in government, to demonstrate their prowess in managing this country and managing the economy. After 8 years, what did they leave us with? They left us with declining agriculture, declining industry, interest rates were high, inflation was high. In fact, if you look at the data in terms of macroeconomic performance in any economy, since the year 2000,
Massa, or you're vague. We don't have to waste time on this guy. Very vague. Or your textbook. Also, I can say, oh, here paper. Oh, you paper, do a penalty free. This is a guy, me what time, manu, when I'm off on him. Me say, yeah, what time, Marco, I'll go with us, so a bone near Pobia. Me see, Mahamudu Bawumia, unya but say, now go ahead the old videos. Ubenu, Ubeka say, hey, me say Bawumia. Unya botre ude didi kakra numti kakra neka se me pese me ko tie Bawumia ube un say hey we were just as one teacher Mahamudu wa bon if he's a man he should meet the meet on share journalists they busa the questions on da he's not going to do it now my mentor adebu ha ti asem bi me say MPP omusa omujimi kakra omunyine no mobodam They go away. MPP. Some are younger. I know Jimmy Kakra. No munyinia, no more bodam. Papa we, Akufo-Addo ministry appointment worst ever. Are you kwe otu? Papa we, and the or catch yes. Eyi tokonu lawyer new. I win a oko defend tokonu. Papa we, and there will be an MPP new. Or catch say Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo we Jimmy ne appointees selection in the history of Ghana. Na we just say who Jimmy a day appointment to say that the worst in the history of Ghana. Papa we also will be an catch. But do you know this man too is an Akufo-Addo appointee? Monsieur Musa Omo Jimmy Omunyinia no mabodam. The same person. Oyuko Otu, this man, Oyuko Otu appointed High Commissioner to Canada. Nana Akufo-Addo appointed this man in 2017 to Canada. And in 2026, Okache said Nana Akufo-Addo appointment to Akufo-Addo Niminyansa, the worst in the history of Ghana. And then the power over the serious. How can you take such people serious? He was an appointee himself. But the referee will say appointee no. Say dementia. Say ultrasound, incognitive, analytical, the consistency. Bro, bro. Review. Analytical, incognitive, the inconsistent analogy. So I want to you. So I want to know review. Say George, no more. Akufo-Addo na appointee. Who Akufo-Addo appointee? Who catch say Akufo-Addo with Jimmy? Appointment to Nyana Nyansenim. How can you be an elderly person able to be boo? Osono mame ne lawyer no. Sometimes you ask yourself, say, we mo no eduro be na mo nom. Ana mo me some medication ana. Bibi na ha mo ana. And sometimes you ask yourself, you were appointed by Akufo-Addo in 2017 as a high commissioner to Canada. Ugotina Canada. Ebo jantra ye di also ye nyina. Ade chini about 2026 okay say Akufo-Addo no with Jimmy. Appointees di nyina na the worst in the history. Inti over say Akufo-Addo no with Jimmy no appointee o meboa. You see, the issue with these people and they say almost taking Ghana for granted for a long time. Almost still, they've still not realized say we are in an era we can fact check them, we can break back their past, we can quote them and refer them to the things they said. So I know review. They still think say we are in the Peace FM era. You can be no. Oh, say from time Peace FM ni Inshira FM no ene Adom FM ne bae na Kennedy FM no sankwasi FM ne bae no. They were saying things and we did not have J. Akufo-Addo president Oko GBC. Everything that was about him, he deleted it and burned everything. J. Akufo. Kufoya is saying Bawumia running mate almost say they will declare him incapacitated. And no go GBC your Kwame Nkrumah, your Eddie, your Buzia, your JJ Rollins videos, your Mahama, your Atamels, your J. Akufo-Addo videos you obe free power no krono mo boy one eye kodwom pieni ni tisa monchi Kennedy ne kan anya me papa we de mindi watam Kofo be free power no and or instructing nipa no GBC say every single thing about him at GBC cover they should burn it and the uko online uko GBC there's nothing about Kofo. That is what they do. But to see an yan my GBC emfa camera Panasonic kakaka megina usu ya de crack na be cover e de ato ho na make sure say e be kai wo maka kire mo ye be kai mo akobi so munyina mu wu ani ejai ye be kai mu de bia. Every day we remind you of your past. We will remind you of the nonsense you have done. We remind you of your foolish talk. We remind you of your corrupt activity, lifestyle. We will remind you of your hypocrisy, your sycophancy. We will remind you of you people, your deliberate ideas. That we will remind you people till you people die. J. Akufo, free power. Oko delete bibia mo shi tape no mo yi tape ni nyina 11 e de gu GBC hwe potogu so e shi ni nyina and da wo hwe Akufo video ba ko pa wo hu na sebi o mane susumi na so sebio mano esisumina so me papa me do sende woda benkum so a ede videos ne de be kai wo ya papa Akufo ende so we nya running mate na sebio mano esisumina so otwede opokwa me efra wende as an ex-president ede video ne ekohwede be kai wo what's that trauma dwuma obedi ye Ghana at 50 den one momo delete up passion nyina ede suban no inti and the MP before your campaigner normal jampo Akufo-Addo no Akufo ito ongo ka bibia ene papa Akufo no o ka se ko check ya uhu Akufo-Addo ne saman so tiase Bawumia gina stage na or refer to Akufo ya pass Akufo-Addo because omso we jimi obi gina stage na or refer to Akufo otwi bia we MPP mu ebe campaigner na obọ Akufo din because Akufo na ebodi din no o ka se o ko fact check Akufo with video evidence publications to cry ye delete. It's right now, no, they are campaigning with a ghost. They are using a ghost profile to campaign. Now, how can say John Mahama ebe skipi atamels na or the JJ Rollins abe campaign? How come John Mahama campaign 2020-2024? He stuck to the boss atamels. They are why ye edit the so ye can. That is what we call you are continuing governance. And so when the Bawumia jina stage no obo Akufo din. Canada Japan jina stage no obo Akufo din. Snitch, Kobene Japan jina stage obo Akufo din. Country obo Akufo din. Ena omo maka. Inti you ask yourself say inti se siano. Inti nana Akufo-Addo or onye nipa na because Akufo or ghost mode. Baby Akufo wana ya skip Akufo-Addo. Yabo Akufo so dia yenya records bia. Inti how can we believe you? One Amos Akufo is incapacitated. You people are campaigning on ghost mode. You come back, you see, and Akufo ye way, and Akufo ye, and you campaigner, you have Akufo, you come back so at the ghost mode, you wushi. Okwa default, okwa blank, okwa opaque. Just okay, so okwa back, Akufo no more refer na, ni the ghost mode. Bibie ni wasu Akufo tiase. Akufo the history the ghost mode enso tiase. E dia Asem kura na ekoso mo MPP for dia pa na yemo. Enti Akufo-Addo onena na mo no mo hu so enipa na mo hu so ya chechede. Why don't you people use Akufo-Addo as a reference point for us to see say muni panyini bitina Ghana na onim nyansa ana Akufo-Addo mo so wejimi. And the Munya platform be also tena. And you know the Akufo legacy and the Akufo legacy and the Akufo legacy will say now the Akufo-Addo ade oya chechede. Akufo-Addo legacy. Mo de mo boni wi ni so keke. Na hu se Akufo-Addo the real legacy. Mo to mo ntimi mo Akufo-Addo legacy so. Mo sorry Akufo so the ghost mode. Ya pa Akufo tiase and so the history at the ghost mode. Sebio manisi sumina so mema ninsi. And the papa Akufo-Addo the benkum so obituary dia na e be twero wom. GBC for documentary be no me ya kire. The obey ya kire say nansen nkofo kosra no when the shake kotena ne nchen na we kotena ne nchen na obi call odi birthday mo betuma ma Akufo the obedi president because ye nim say JJ Rollins owu ye no from 1979 ye nya ne videos nyina be see time JJ Rollins nyankopɔ to ne safre no send the Akufo wu a ye benya Akufo video Akufo na ngasa odi nkan sie no ho fama o mo na MPP